Hello. I've been planning on doing a vinyl update for a while. It's been about 3 months since my last one, and I have acquired a number of records in that time, as you would expect. But I knew that I had a big record fair coming up this weekend, so I figured let's just wait until that's over. I'll get a couple more new records there, and then we can do an overall, you know, retrospective. The problem is there were like 20 vendors there and there were really good prices and I bought too much stuff. So we are not going to talk about those records I bought for the last 3 months today because this video would be a million billion hours long and I would be embarrassed at what a fucking horrible monster I am. So instead, we're just going to do this video with record store acquisitions, and then we'll do another final update for all that stuff that I'm compulsively buying later. All right, so let's go through what I picked up. First of all, this is the debut album from XTC White Music. This was actually one of my favorite records of theirs. Uh, Kind of had like a cool Elvis Costello thing going on. Typical pressing, nothing fancy. I got this Buddy Holly comp basically because I really liked, it was like a nice guy and I wanted to support his business, but he didn't have any records I wanted. So, this was like $10 and I don't have any Buddy Holly. And, I like, I try not to buy a ton of compilations, but, I haven't explored his discography. I don't know what albums to get. So, I mean, it's nice to have something that has like, Peggy Sue and Everyday and Ray Vaughan and That'll Be the Day. That's nice. It's good to have. Runt, the first record by Todd Rundgren. I've just started diving Todd's discography, and I really enjoyed this record. Actually, it was kind of a weird listening experience because, like, the first four tracks or so, I was really underwhelmed by. I wasn't really a fan. There was like some kind of blues rock going on, which isn't really my jam. But then it got really good. Like from like track five on, with like Once Burned and In the Click and Birthday Carol, it gets really good after that start. So I enjoyed it thoroughly. All right, couple Van Morrison records. Poetic Champions Compose, one of his best '80s records, with Queen of the Slipstream and Did You Get Healed, Someone Like You, and then definitely a top five Van record for me, somewhere in there. St. Dominic's Preview. This is a gorgeous album, and the title track on here is one of my absolute favorites. And like Jackie Wilson said, listen to The Lion. Great stuff. Then got some soundtracks here. Got Matewan. This is a soundtrack by Mason Daring. This is a movie by John Sayles. Really cool movie. Kind of not talked about enough, I don't think. Um, what else we got? We got the Starman score. Jesus Christ, we got the Starman score by Jack Nietzsche, or however you pronounce his name, Nietzsche. I assume it's like the philosopher man, but he's the guy who like produced the debut Neil Young record and stuff. And this is a really pretty score. It's nice to have. And then of course you got to pick up the Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome score, which, of course, it has, Tina Turner's awesome theme song, We Don't Need Another Hero, which kicks ass. But then the score by Maurice Jarre, I always thought was really cool. Like, he uses a lot of, like, unconventional instrumentation to, like, match the setting of Bartertown, where everything is just kind of, it's like basically buildings made out of discarded trash and car parts and shit. It's a cool score. They had two Christmas records by John Fahey, so these were great. I love his Christmas albums. This one, The New Possibility, might be my favorite album to listen to at Christmas. So these were really nice to have, and I'll definitely be breaking those out in December. Uh, okay, Human, one of my favorite Weezer records, recent record, kind of a pandemic record for Rivers Cuomo, and it comes on this nice splatter vinyl here, lovely. Um, Double Negative by Low. This was kind of the precursor to their final record, Hey What, which might be my favorite record in their whole discography. But this is an awesome album. On those two albums, they really started experimenting, in the studio and doing some crazy shit, with like, just fucking with the sound of their voices and whatnot. I mean, I don't know enough technically to explain what they're doing, but it's gorgeous. And at first, it's kind of off-putting, but when you get used to it, just the more times I listen to those records, the more I just absolutely fall in love with them. Uh, Scoop by Pete Townsend. He released a bunch of these compilations, and these are basically solo demos of Who songs that, in some cases, I like more than the final recordings. Definitely not in all cases, but in some. Like he's got a cool, very like spare version of Magic Bus on here that I really like. And yeah, I would love to get the other volumes of this at some point. I think there are 3. All right, and then we've got a lot of Prince related stuff, which is cool. Starting with the 2 great Sheila E. records, where Prince wrote almost all of the material and produced them, played all or almost all of the instruments. You got Glamorous Life, which of course has the title track, which is incredible. It's got The Bell of St. Mark, which is a great one, Noon Rendezvous. And then you got what is this? Romance 1600, that's what it's called, which has A Love Bazaar on it, which is a fantastic one. And yeah, these are really enjoyable records. If you're a Prince fan and you haven't heard these records, it really has like some of his best songwriting of that era. So highly recommended. And then I got a bunch of Prince singles in here. Got Little Red Corvette with Automatic and International Lover. This is kind of beat to shit, but it's still cool to have. International Lover, along with Let's Pretend We're Married, were the 2 tracks that really convinced me that Prince was going to be one of my favorite artists. This was actually the song that first converted me. When I got to this, the first time I listened to 1999, I was just like, I'm in. I'm completely sold. This guy rules. And it's got Irresistible Bitch on the B-side, which is one of his better B-sides. And then we got Vanity 6, another great Prince side project with a Makeup, Nasty Girl. I already have Apollonia 6, so now I got the duology, as it were. They're basically the same band. It's just one of them is fronted by Apollonia and one of them is fronted by Vanity. And then we got the Sign of the Times single. We got the Kiss single there. We've got a couple of Morris Day and the Time records, which once again, I think these are essential listening if you're a Prince fan. Ice Cream Castle and What Time Is It? This one has 777-9311. It's got Gigolos Get Lonely Too. This one obviously has the title track, Jungle Love, The Bird. And I also got a single for Jungle Love, backed with The Bird. This was not $30. This is an unrelated sticker, I promise. This was $8, so that's reasonable. I also got this little Party Man single, which has their version of Cool, Prince's version with Third Eye Girl, which this was a Morris Day song as well, but I love Prince's version of it. It was kind of a highlight of those live shows. Then we got a couple of Joni Mitchell records. We got the live album, Shadows and Light. There we go. Gatefold. And then we have demos for her album Hajira, which is one of my favorites of hers. Has probably my favorite song of hers, Amelia. And I actually have Hajira. It's in the pile that I haven't gone through yet, but it's actually on my turntable right now. I got a silver colored printing of it. But yeah, I have the demos collection for Chord and Spark, and these are wonderful listens. They're really interesting to check out. And then finally, I got John Prine, Lost Dogs and Mixed Blessings. Apparently, this is the first time it was ever on vinyl. And this has a number of really good songs, including one of my absolute favorite John Prine songs, Lake Marie. And it's just a really nice package with all the lyrics on there and some little drawings which are nice. And then the vinyl itself is on. It's kind of like a yellowy kind of white. I don't even know if you can see the yellow in here, but there are like little lines of yellow. They described it as like buttered popcorn colored. Yeah, I don't know if that'll show up on camera because it's subtle, but it's nice. I like it. Okay, so that was today. That wasn't as painful as I thought, and we will go over the other recent acquisitions soon. And I am a terrible person.